Welcome to this rough and ready overview of our hackathon project, where we looked at taking some of the first steps of creating a truly optimized Windows experience for the handheld PC market which is really just starting to grow right now due to a device called the Steam Deck, which I'll get into in a second. But if we think of a few years back, the Switch being released, it really showed that a handheld can finally compete against other consoles. And then a few years, we started to hear rumors about a device called the Steam Deck that can finally play, all the games in your Steam library, or at least most of the games. And it's been a huge success. People love it. It is giving them the Switch experience, but with all the PC games they love. It runs a custom Linux distribution called SteamOS, which creates a really optimized experience for the Steam store and Steam games. But because the Steam Deck is a PC, it can run Windows. But it's been pretty rough. The drivers are pretty basic, and it's not ready for prime time. So there's a bunch of problems, and we're trying to figure out where to start with this project. So we focused on the basics. One, there's a lack of controller support. So if you're playing a non-Steam game, you can't use the controller. Games don't open well because they can't quite interpret what kind of display it is. They have trouble accessing the VRAM, so some games don't even start. The touch keyboard on Windows is very odd. We think it's made for a portrait screen. There's a lot of Windows UI and UX elements that are not optimized for a handheld. But things quickly changed once we started to learn more about what had been done and what roadblocks we might run into. A good example is this the 3-week handheld sprint led by Dorothy Fang. She explored all the things that ultimately we want in a handheld experience. We also learned about a touch keyboard that can be navigated with a controller. It's something we want. There's a new taskbar that's optimized for panels. And we also found and started working with a developer who created a way to use Steam Deck's controls globally in Windows. Also, the last thing we saw was a gaming shell created by Hayden McAfee, and we said, we want this in this project. Give us a quick way to launch games, quick way to launch apps, let's do it. So we limited the scope to just a few things, and we looked at what the experience might be. So you have an onboarding experience. This is handheld mode. Here's what it does. Let's get things ready. Let's install drivers and services. Let's restart, and then you'll see it living in your taskbar. And then afterwards, you can change some basic settings. So looking at the results of the hackathon, we got our onboarding setup experience where drivers and services are installed. The controller works now. Now we have the foundation for a launcher where you can quickly launch between games, between stores. So if you look at what it would take to bring handheld mode to the mainstream market, create that truly minimum valuable product, a lot of these things seem feasible as long as we have the right specialists, as long as we have the right expertise kind of moving through this project. Everything on here is definitely achievable. Everyone working on this project really feels that this is something that Windows users they need, they deserve to have, and it's something that we all want to see eventually. If we can truly dial in this handheld experience, we could also see new revenue streams and a lot of goodwill in the PC gaming community. So let's look at ways of kind of building on the momentum we've had with this hackathon project. Build incrementally, get this out to people in previews, build excitement around Windows truly trying to focus on the handheld market and create a truly optimized experience.